All right, today is April the 1st, and we are going to take a look at how we order fractions on a number line. So the first thing you need to know about fractions, for instance, if you're given the fractions 3/8, 2/8, and 7/8, and you want to order them from least to greatest. The easiest way to do this is to compare them on a number line. So when you're comparing things on a number line, we know that we need to have a number line that has eighths on it. So when you're designing a number line, you want to start with your 0 and then count afterwards however many spaces you need to make up your denominator. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made my number line a little too long, so I'm going to shorten it just a little. And you need to keep in mind that when counting, don't count the 0, but do count the 1. Or any other whole number. So for instance, this would be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8 is the same thing as the number 1, because remember 8 divided by 8 equals 1, which would make sense because this is 0 and you're working all the way to the whole number 1. So if I wanted to order these fractions from least to greatest, 2/8 is going to be my first fraction that's right there, and I'm going to represent it with the letter A. 3/8 is right here, and I'm going to represent it with the letter B, and 7/8 is right here, and I'm going to represent it with the letter C. So if I put them in order from least to greatest, it's 2/8, 3/8, and 7/8, and because of that like denominator, I'm easily able to see that order. So 0, just remember, is the same thing as 0/8, and 1 is the same thing as 8/8, but you don't count the 0, you count every space thereafter. So let's try and make a number line with sixths. So we're going to try and order 1/6, 4/6, and 5/6. And so our number line is going to have 6 stops on it. Remember, we're going to start at 0, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So this would be 0/6, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6 is the same as the number 1. Now we can easily order them on the number line. 1/6 is right here, and we're going to represent that by the letter C. 4/6 is right here, and we're going to represent that by the letter A, and 5/6 is right here, and we're going to represent that by the letter B. So remember, do count every space after the 0, but do not count the 0. So let's practice with your assignment that you have for today. It looks like this, number lines. And it says write the fraction or mixed number. So we're going to take a look at one of the ones that is just a fraction, then we'll also take a look at the mixed number one. So on number 1, do not count 0. The first way you're going to have to tackle this assignment is then to count every space after 0. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, which means this is the same as 4/4, because 4/4 equals 1. So A is 1/4, B is 2/4, C is 3/4, and the number 1 is the same as 4/4. So then you just need to write your answers right along here as you go. Now, the other one we're going to look at, I'm going to let you do the other 4 on your own, is the last one, number 6. Number 6, you have a 0, an M, an N, and a 2. And you need to think about the fact that this is the whole number 2, so we need to figure out how many spaces we have in between the whole number 2 and the 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So we've got to divide that or break it apart so that we get the whole number 1 at the halfway point. So our halfway point is going to be right here. Here's 0, 1, 2 spaces. Here's 2, 1, 2 spaces. This is where the number 1 needs to go, which is the same as, in this instance, we have 1, 2, 3 spaces. So the number 1 is the same as 3/3. So the 0 is right here. This is going to be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. 4/3 is the same as 1 and 1/3. 5/3 is the same as 1 and 2/3. And the number 2 is the same as 1 and 3/3, or the whole number 2, which makes it make sense. So the letter M is going to be 2/3, and the letter N is 1 and 1/3, or you could write 4/3. 4/3 is just an improper fraction. It looks better if you write it as the mixed number 1 and 1/3, but we'll learn more about improper fractions and mixed numbers going forward. So that one would be your tricky one. And then you have another one right here on number 4 where you have the whole number 1, the whole number 2. You've got to figure out how many spaces you have in between to solve for I and J. So that one might be a little bit more tricky. On the back side, they're all going to start at 0 because you can see that they're all ending at 1. So they're all going to start with 0. You have to identify what fraction the letter points to. So the way you can figure that out is, again, counting the spaces. Remember, 0 doesn't count, but you count every space thereafter when you're creating a number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7/7 is the same as 1 whole. So now you need to go back and number them in order on the way along the number line and fill in your blanks. Okay? I know you all are going to do great with this. Make sure you have your notes inside of your notebook for math. You take notes when I take notes. Remember, please, boys and girls, to write your name in cursive on the top. Having a hard time with those papers coming into me without any name or number on the things that have to be returned to me. And my date today is April the 1st. And my number is 0. You all are numbers 1 to 33. So please make sure that is going on the top of any of your papers that you send to me. I have a lot of papers coming into me and I don't want any of your hard work to get lost in the shuffle. You're going to be keeping this because we will check it tomorrow. I will be sending your parents the answer key and you will check it tomorrow, and then we'll move on to another lesson in fractions.